Okay, in this chapter, we're going to talk about using presentation software. This one is really short as well because most of you know how to use presentation software and you've done it already, so it's a pretty short chapter. We're going to talk about why you should present a speech and not a slideshow, avoiding technical glitches, how to use a guide and your presentation aid as a presentation aid, composing a presentation aid, and finding the right media for presentation aid. So, give a speech. It's important that you still concentrate on your speech. A lot of times we get kind of caught up in making a presentation aid or a slideshow or a video, and we forget about the content of our speech. We forget about what we're actually doing and what we're actually presenting in this speech. So remember to focus on that content. Focus on what your speech is actually about and not this amazing presentation guide that you're using. You want to use the presentation guide to engage your audience and not to distract them from your speech. So make sure that they coincide and that you're kind of talking about similar things when you're going through your speech. So if you're talking about liposuction, for example, I gave that example in the last chapter, that you're talking about, the specific type of liposuction as opposed to a different type that's on your presentation aid. So if you're not talking about what's on the screen, then black out your screen. Don't leave something up there that is not what you're talking about. So if you're talking about liposuction and you're talking about, this very low invasive type, but you have a very highly invasive type of liposuction on your screen, it can be conflicting to listeners to be hearing you say one thing but seeing something else. So black out that screen if you don't want to have something up there to talk about that. Technical glitches. I wish that I could say they will never happen to you. I wish that I could say it will be easy to avoid them, but they happen constantly. This class is an example. We had some issues with Blackboard and some ugly things happened, so we had to move things around and push things back in order to kind of make everything work and coincide. So do your best to be prepared for things to happen. Have a backup plan. On page 295 in your book, it talks about some different things that you can do to avoid technical glitches, which is basically just be prepared. Know that whatever presentation guide you're using, if you're using PowerPoint, make sure that the computer that you're using and your version of PowerPoint match so that you can actually open that presentation when you get up there to speak to your audience. I know the computers on campus typically don't have Keynote, and so students who have a MacBook or have an Apple product and use Keynote to prepare their presentation are oftentimes not available to use it. I learned that the hard way. So just make sure that you're prepared for the worst to happen and you're prepared by walking in there ahead of time and making sure that you can use that presentation aid. Choose a presentation guide. PowerPoint, Keynote, and Prezi are the most famous. Most of the time I recommend that students use PowerPoint because this is typically compatible with all kinds of computers. Keynote is not really compatible with anything other than Apple products. So if you know that you're just going to be hooking your computer up to a projection screen, then go ahead and you have an Apple product, then go ahead and use Keynote. But if you think that you're going to be saving it on a USB and then you're going to be connecting to someone else's computer, know that they probably won't have Keynote. And Prezi, I haven't seen it done correctly very many times. A lot of times I see it done and it's very disorganized and scattered, so it's not my favorite, but some people can do it well. So if you're one of the people that can do it well, feel free to use Prezi. Otherwise, I prefer that you stick to PowerPoint, just to be safe. Composing a presentation, most of you guys know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, in your book, chapter 21 is called Designing Presentation Aids, and this will help you it'll walk you through how to make a PowerPoint or a Prezi. There's different options. You can insert video, media, and animation. There's different effects I talked about in the last chapter to be careful of letting the presentation animate itself and switch to the next slide because it can affect the way that you present. There's different ways to navigate through it. That's probably my least favorite part of Prezi is the navigation, because a lot of times it'll zoom out and zoom back in, and I just feel like that looks very distracting. And then there's different menus and different options to use. The menus are mainly on Keynote and Prezi. So just go through and look at your options and see what you can do. And if you need help, refer to chapter 21 in your book. Finding media, there's a lot of different options to finding media. You guys could probably find more media than I ever could. I'm one of those people that is addicted to memes, and so I'm constantly posting memes on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or sending them to my friends. So if you're somebody that's good at that and you find something funny that relates to your speech and it fits in with the tone of your speech, then use it, gladly use it. If you're somebody that's good at finding quick little snippets or short videos, or you have something in mind that you want to show, you're more than welcome to use it. Here's some examples of places that you can find media. A lot of times CNN, ABC, NBC, they will all have an option for you to share their video, so you could share it to your PowerPoint and then open it from your PowerPoint. Or, you know, if you go to YouTube and you find a good video, I know that in the chapter about The Voice, I uploaded a video from YouTube to the PowerPoint of the sloth in Zootopia because it was cute and funny. So if you are able to find something that fits in with your speech, make sure that it doesn't take up too much time, because if we're going to just sit and watch a video of someone else talking about your topic, then there's really no point in you talking. So there's really no point in you getting a grade. So make sure that you are the one doing most of the talking, but if you find something good to use, then please by all means use it. If you have questions and you want to make sure that it's appropriate, let me know. I will gladly watch it or go over it to make sure that it fits in well. Always, 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 always give credit to the correct person. So if you use a video or you use, a sample photo from someone's website, please give them credit. I know I'm guilty of this sometimes. I'll show a graph that I didn't create and I'll forget to give credit, or I'll take a picture from the book and I'll put it in my PowerPoint and I'll forget to give credit to the book publishers. But since I know some of the book publishers, they probably wouldn't be too angry with me. But you might accidentally come across a situation where someone does get upset with you, especially once you get into the corporate world. So be very, very, very careful about using someone else's work, which at this point in your academic careers, you're going to use someone else's work. So that's okay. Just make sure that you give them credit. I know that these presentations are really short and it's like, oh my goodness, we're already done with this chapter. But if you have questions about how to use a presentation aid, how to make one, if you want me to look over yours at any time, even once you're out of this class, please let me know and I will be happy to look over it for you and give you some pointers and tips. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Let me know and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible.